Hi there, and welcome to class number 2, the Parent Chat Co-Parenting class. This class is titled Dual Love Equality. Okay, so think about that just for a second. Dual love equality. What does that mean? Well, it means a way how you can allow your child or your children to love both parents equally without limitations or fear of hurting the other parent. Sounds kind of simple and easy, right? Well, it's not when you're going through a divorce or any kind of separation and you are, of course, in a different role because you are now sharing your child or your children with an ex. And a lot of times when you hear the word ex, it can be a negative because maybe you still have hurtful feelings and resentment of whatever happened, that ended up in the breakup itself or the pending divorce itself. And so sometimes what parents do is they want to compete for the child's love. So they do maybe extra things, or they kind of a little bit more calculating efforts to show the child that they love them more, and in turn to patch them up because they're so hurt. They need sometimes parents go through a process where they're trying to get their personal needs fulfilled by the amount of love that their child has for them. And so they may try to create these different plans of action so that the child feels more love. So I'll give you an example. And of course it has to do with bribing them, giving them extra things, letting them do certain things, allowing them to break rules and not enforce whatever consequences would have been enforced if the situation wasn't currently a breakup. In other words, if you still were together and your child or your children broke a certain rule and this is the consequence, it would have been enforced. But now that you broke up and you're no longer together and you're going through this separation process, sometimes parents become a little bit more lenient when it comes to the consequences of rule breaking. And what happens in that situation is then what you're really doing is you are empowering the child to take over and take control of the situation. And that is not a good idea. It's not. Because you are creating something that is not only going to change their attitude and their focus and everything in their lives, but in the long term, it is going to affect them because one day they are going to realize that the world does not revolve around them. And therefore, they're going to come to a point where it's going to be very, very difficult for them to accept different situations in the real world. So what you want to do is establish a foundation with your ex and just clearly state, listen, let's not do this, the child loves dad more than mom or anything like that. Let's just, establish our own relationships with our child or our children, and let's not do the competition thing because it's going to affect the child. Because what's going to happen with the child is they're going to end up feeling badly anytime they're with one or the other parent. Now you may think, well, but if they're with the parent that they're saying that they love them the most, then they'll have the most fun with that one. No, that's not what's going to happen. That's not the outcome. Because in that situation, when the child is with you, the child is stressed because he or she is going to be in the mindset of always having to convince you that they love you more than the other parent, which causes them stress. Now, so let's flip that. Let's say they're with the other parent, and that's the one that they so-called, love less. They're with that parent, then they also feel stressed because they may feel badly because they're already stated that they love you more. So all of this time and energy is taking away from their development and them establishing their own set of values as a person, and also for their level of self-esteem that you want them to continue to increase as they grow and develop. All of that is going to change because they are put in this situation that is very, very unfair to them. So I strongly encourage you to allow your child to love you equally and separately. So whatever the conversations that your child or children have with your ex, that should also be private. And how they feel about them should remain private as well. So when they come back from the weekend or the week with being with the other parent, you know, you don't need to ask them the questions about feelings, okay? Like, oh, so you were with your dad all week, or oh, you were with your mom all week. How did you feel? Do you still love them? Are you sure you love them as much as me, or do you love them more? Don't do that. You're putting undue stress and pressure on your child, and it's not fair. And they are children that are put in this situation, and it's not their fault. It doesn't matter whose fault it is, okay? And the separation, I'm not talking about fault here, but I'm saying that the child or the children are innocent in this whole family dynamics that has been split, and you need to focus on trying to make the new dynamic, work as best as possible. So my suggestion to you would be to allow them to love the other parent, equally, separately, and privately. And that would be the best outcome for the child. Now, I would suggest, if you have done a couple of these things that I've presented here in this class, that maybe you need to possibly get some counseling, or put yourself in a separate environment that you can allow to express your feelings. Because if you are searching to fulfill your need for love and whatever is broken inside of you through your child or your children, then you're definitely in need of some type of counseling to repair that, so that you can then become your full potential. Okay, that's what your goal here is, to become whole again and reach your full potential. So that is class number 2, dual love equality. Now, if you decided to print out the PDF for the workbook, then you could follow along it and answer all those questions. And then, of course, on the bottom would have the mini quiz, just to kind of give you an idea, so that you'll be watching more effectively, and answer your questions, or answer the questions there, and then hopefully you get more out of this class. Okay, thank you so much. I hope I see you in class number 3. Goodbye now.